Alright, this is the official application video. I'm going to go through all the way through nail prep, all the way to applying the wrap, and everything in between. So this is the very bare bones basics of what you need here. Obviously your wraps, nail scissors. These are actually Jamberry nail scissors. They are very well loved, and there's a tiny sliver of wrap on them. I like to use alcohol wipes. Jamberry also has nail prep wipes. Theirs are much larger, and you can use them for all 10 of your nails with just one wipe, whereas like one of these lasts like 2 nails. But make sure that if you were to get these, which you can find them in the diabetic supplies aisle at pretty much any store, that you get the ones that have no additives, no pain relief. If you look at the ingredients on the box, it should just say isopropyl alcohol and water. That's it. Because you don't want to be adding any oils or benzocaine or lidocaine or anything like that onto your nails that can interfere with the wraps sealing to your nails. You want a relatively rough-ish nail file. The Jamberry one is pretty much perfect, and as you can see, it's been used a lot. This is used to actually file the wrap off initially. So, want that, and an orange stick. That's kind of optional, but also really helps with cuticle removal, especially this kind, the really sharp kind. And you may want to have tweezers around. I have these fancy schmancy ones, but regular tweezers will do. Alright, so that's the bare bones basics. What I have added in, I have added the cuticle remover that I used in my removal video. I use that after I'm done all removing. I use it again to help remove the cuticles. And I've added my own glass nail file that I got recently, but Jamberry also has a glass nail file, and I've used theirs in the past as well, and they're really good as well. I just happen to have this one on hand because I have a lot of nail files. And actually, this is probably more of a should be in your bare bones basics kit, is a silicone cuticle pusher, because this is used to actually press it down onto your nail. You can use your thumb, but that's not really an option for me because, as you can see, I have very curved, domed nails. If your nails, when you go like this and they barely touch when they meet, you have nails like me. And they're pretty, but they're unfortunate when it comes to nail wraps and things like that. And that's where the heater comes in. That is, of course, in your bare bones basics. I have the Jamberry heater. It's super duper quiet, which, I mean, I did my nails with Brian sleeping on bed right next to me and did not wake him up at all. So there's that. But you can opt to use I used to use a travel hairdryer just because it was small and it was not as strong as far as the heat goes, because you don't want it to be too hot. So that could be an option, really cheap, like $10 travel hairdryer, or just whatever hairdryer you own now on a low, warm, or maybe even cool setting, depending on how good your hairdryer is. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move everything out of the way here. I've got a little pile of these here. I've also got my acetone out because once I use my cuticle eraser, I will want to use that to remove the oils from my cuticle eraser. And everything out of the way. Tissue's here because of the oils from it. And if you use anything like this, you're going to want to wash your hands probably. I'm not going to. I'm just going to stick them in the acetone. This stuff is so messy. I've prepped all of my nails except one. Okay, and I'm just scraping away the cuticles on the sides, kind of just moving it around. Now obviously you can just do this, like I said, with a sharp orange stick to push your cuticles back. And you'll want to use the tip to kind of just scrape along the sides. Don't be hurting yourself or anything like that. That's excessive and there's no point in that. Because you can do this without hurting yourself. And I use the end. You will have what is called invisible cuticle, which is what it's called. It's invisible. You can't see it, but you can probably be able to feel it with your orange stick. And you want to make sure all of that is gone. My cuticles like to hang out in the corners here. And mine are actually pretty clean now. The first time I did this before I applied my last wraps, it took me quite a while because I hadn't done this in a long time. I usually just take off my polish, put some new stuff on, and go. But I wanted to make sure that they stuck and they were really good this time. Okay. Using the acetone to get all that off. And I also like to use, sometimes your best cuticle pusher is your nail. That's an option too. If you feel it catching on anything, that's your cuticle. Or in my case, leftover gel. But I do have a peel-off base coat for my gel, so I'm not just digging gel off my nail. That's a no-no as well. But as I had mentioned before, I said don't ever buff your nails. But the application kit actually comes with a nail buffer, but that's super useful for if you have regular gels or the Jamberry True Shine gel kit. It's really good for breaking down the top layer of gel for removal. It also comes with these pockets, which I own some, but I have no idea where they are because I have a lot of supplies. But they actually, you slip them over your nail and it dissolves away the gel and wrap if you have that on with it. And it's super convenient and nice. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these items. And you don't want to use the same orange stick that's covered in oil. And that's going to stick to the nail polish on the mat. This is my silicone mat that I use for my nail art that is constantly covered in swatches. Okay, alright, let's get our wrap out. I have a broken nail, as you can see. Okay, this one is actually currently available, and I got it with my sign-up kit. that was only $10. It came with the application kit, a wrap of your choice, and a mini heater for $9.99. It's free. You're just paying shipping. And you become a Jamberry consultant, or you become a person with a great discount. It's your choice. But I decided to actually become a consultant because I had been after this for a while. I just didn't quite have the bank account for it. But now this is only from April 1st to April 30th, and there's like no excuses now. But that's my personal goals, and please talk to me if that is something that interests you. If you are a fan of Jamberry and you're looking for something extra, maybe you are not in love with your current job and you're like me, or you're a stay-at-home mom and you really like that extra cash. My sponsor is a stay-at-home mom, and she does 3 Facebook parties a week, and she does in-home parties. So it is totally achievable. But anyways, this is the wrap I got when I signed up. So it's currently available. It's called Grey Agate. And this is the luster finish, which I didn't realize that I would like so much. And I plan on getting more. So my nails, what you want to do is match them up to the size that is slightly smaller than your nail. Because especially on curved nails, you're going to see a tiny sliver on the side. But honestly, you're the only person that's going to see that. Everybody else is going to see this. And it's going to look great and fabulous, and you're going to get a stupid amount of compliments. So my personal sizes are literally the first 5, because I don't have very big fingers. But you should find the sizes that best work for you. And if you can't quite decide between 2, which I had that issue before, and I applied the wrong one, because I was sure that I was, right, always choose the slightly smaller one. So this is my pinky, and my index finger, and my ring, and my middle, and my thumb. Which, that looks super tiny to be my thumb, but that's what it is. And I also, when I'm applying my thumb, I will cut off just the base here in a straight line, because that's the shape of my thumb. If you have a more rounded base, then this should work for you. And you can find in my little chart on how to use the wraps, how to use these 2 as a pedi pack, and then you should have these 4 here as accent nails, or you could do a whole nother manicure with these 4 and then include an accent nail of polish or gel or a different wrap, whatever you want to do. So, and you could also do that with these 4. And sometimes you can even leave the center, which is great for little toes, if you can get them on your little toes. I'm trying to do that. But I'm going to go ahead. Now, I like to use the alcohol wipes before each individual finger application, because see how shiny they are? They're oily, and that's a good thing. It's never good to have dry nails, but they're always shiny and stuff, and that's because I don't buff my nails. But I will use them before each application. So I will go ahead and do my pinky. Now, I'm a righty, and one thing you can do that I find helpful, especially when applying lacquer, is move your dominant hand. So you're painting with this one, or you're applying wraps, move this hand. I don't do that so much anymore, but it can be very helpful if you're not used to doing this stuff. So you really want to, you want to hear that squeak, kinda. You want to get it dry. And you can also wash your hands with dish soap beforehand, but I don't usually do that. I just use the alcohol pad like immediately before. So what I do is, how I cut mine is I don't cut it in half on the plastic. I will actually do this, so that at least one of them is sticking up like that. I like to use the edge of my orange stick. Don't ever touch the actual base of the wrap, because you will transfer the oils on your fingers onto the wrap. Now, I actually apply mine cold, but I'm going to turn my heater on. There we go. Apply mine cold so that I can make sure it's centered, because nothing annoys me more than an uncentered wrap. And I will only allow the base of it to actually be touching my nail at this point. So I will look down the nail and on each side. Sometimes, see, that's probably crooked. And all you have to do is, like I did there, you just roll it off. And it's barely touching my nail, but that's a good thing at this point, because you want to be able to move it around, get it right. And you can like push down the sides a little bit, make sure it's pretty much centered. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so this is where this really comes in handy. And I've actually found this in other brands too, if you don't have one, especially right now for your sample. But I highly recommend this one. It's small, it's lightweight, it's easy to use, and it doesn't have a sharp cuticle pusher thingy at the end that'll stab you, which I've had happen with a different one that I used. And what I will do is actually apply enough of heat that I will see it start to move, just like that. And I just put the pressure down the center of the nail, from the cuticle to the tip. That's it. That's all I'm going to do right now. And I tilt it to the side, put some more pressure. And I'm probably gripping the heck out of the cuticle pusher, but I am not putting a lot of pressure on the wrap at this point. I'm just getting it on there. And now I will apply heat to one side, and this is such a tiny nail, usually I will go just a little closer to the edge from base to tip, and then push out to the side, once again from the cuticle to the tip, just in kind of a sawing motion here. And then I'm doing like this rolling motion, like this, to get it on the side, the very end of the tip. And now I'm going to heat the other side. Darn, hands are so cold I can't feel it. And I will run it down the center again, just a little closer to the edge. And then push it just along the sides. from base to tip. Got a fussy part here. The very last part that you do, especially if you're me, is going to be the hardest to work with. It's going to want to wrinkle and all that, and that's where you kind of want to apply just a little bit more pressure, and then you want to just run it along, base, sides, on the tip, and then I add a little bit more heat. Over the whole wrap. Yeah, that's a tiny bit easier. And really smooth down, focusing on any wrinkles and just kind of holding the wrap to my nail because the heat is allowing it. I'm not yanking or anything like that, but the heat is allowing it to stretch. And I'm going to wait for it to cool, and then I will file it off. But I'm not even done with the heat yet. After I'm done filing it off, I'll heat it some more, really smooth down the edge, make sure that any wrinkles that might appear at the tip are gone, gotten rid of, and flattened down and smoothed out. And it's so pretty. And I'm heating it again. And I don't know, I might as well do another nail, because that's what I actually do. I'll apply one, move on to the next nail, apply that entirely, and then file this one. And then I'll apply this one, and then file this one, and so on, until I reach, I will actually do both pinkies, and then I'll do both ring fingers, moving down to my thumbs, because you want your thumbs to be last, because you don't want this nonsense hanging off of your thumb while you're trying to do stuff, and then catching it, having it get pulled off, crying a little bit. So I'm going to actually go out of my comfort zone and do my, not that one, my ring finger. And do that one next. I love these ones that have just a fluid, different design on each nail rather than static. Like Pool House, to me, is super pretty, but I can't stand that it has that same exact design on every single nail. But that's just me. Okay. And I forgot to do my alcohol wipe, so I'm going to set that down right there. And that, see, I'm probably only going to get one use out of each tiny little alcohol wipe. Now, they are super cheap, and there's 200 to a box, but that's not going to last probably as long as, honestly, getting the Jamberry ones. Now, wait until it's squeaking on my nail. Really getting all the oils off. Let it dry. The lid on my acetone so that doesn't all dry out. Okay. Itty bitty tiny hair. Okay. So, once again, I will fit this, try to get this in the center. Now my ring fingers are like a little bit crooked, a little bit weird at the bottom, so they're a little bit more tricky for things like this. Like my accent nails on my last manicure, I actually did those first, and they were not as good as the rest because they had a lot showing on one side and full coverage on the other, of course. Which can happen, and don't get frustrated if it does, because like I said, 99.9% of the time, nobody's going to notice but you. I like to get mine real darn close to the cuticles so that they can truly last and not grow out, especially because I have random fingers that grow out a lot slower than others, which is probably normal. I think that looks centered. Yeah. Okay, so I will just barely push it just to get it in place so that when it moves while I'm heating it, it's not actually going to move. Okay, and then apply heat until it curls a little bit. Okay, and like before, you just smooth it right down the center to the tip. Kind of push it along. I like to point the tip towards whichever side I'm running it along. But like I said before, you can use the orange stick, or you can just simply use your finger. But make sure you don't accidentally touch the underside. Heat one side. Okay, and I will move it down the center, and then, and I mean, I'm going down the center until it's really close. And then I press down along the cuticle, and then along the side, all the way down until I get to the tip. And then just kind of run this along the side. And let's do the other side. And this is why I like to swap fingers, or swap hands, do every other hand, because I don't want to accidentally reheat my pinky and then end up filing a warmed wrap, because what happens is when they cool, they can shrink a little bit, and then if you file that off and it cools, it'll shrink back, and then you'll have some nail showing. Okay, so I'm getting this real close, and then you push it down. So it looks like it's going to be too close, so I'm going to have to trim this one just at the end. Now, I'm not your mom, but be careful when you're trimming. Which I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I go any further. And this might be, oh my goodness, there's wrap stuck to it. This might be one of those times that you might want to move your dominant hand rather than your non-dominant. I think that might be enough. Oh goodness. Okay, fine, just stick to my finger. Sure there's no oils or anything like that on your scissors. Okay, that should be good. Heat it a little bit. And yeah, that's perfect. Press it down. I also like to do these kind of close to bedtime, after my shower, or unless you're getting a shower in the morning, because you don't want to expose it to an excessive amount of water, like shower, bath, dishwashing, that kind of stuff, because you're just basically testing it at that point. And I don't know why you would want to do that. Might help when it's this long to just trim it down. And what you want to do, how you want to file these, is always, only ever, straight up and down. And I'm not friggin' like trying to reach my cuticles with the file. I am steadying my finger with my thumb. And for the sides, since my nails go down at basically a 90-degree angle on the sides, I will angle my file so that it's still technically filing downwards. No seesawing, no this up and down, just down. And I don't force it off. I mean, I don't know if that would even do anything, but I just don't. I think it's time for a new file. Alright, there you go. It should come right off. So there you have it. This one's actually, it's not wrinkled at the end or anything, but I'm still gonna, before I use my glass nail file, which is a much finer grit, I will heat it one more time. That was too close. Which, if you're interested in getting the juniors and applying to your little ones, this is a really good temperature. You might not want to be all up next to it like I am, but, you know, who cares, right? No. They say that you can use a warm bag of rice or something like that, or a heat pad or something to actually apply the heat, but I personally can't speak for that because I've never done it before. But little ones' nails also tend to be kind of like flatter too, so it would also be much easier to apply the wraps. And the juniors, you can get so many wee little manicures out of those, even more than the adult size wraps. Okay. So if you're really not into putting nail polish and all those crazy chemicals on your kids, these are the way to go. And what I like to do is kind of go at not quite a 45-degree angle, but almost, with my finer grit glass nail file, which, as I mentioned before, Jamberry has one, and it's pretty awesome. and it'll just take off just a little bit of the wrap. It's not hanging over or anything, but it makes it much more difficult for anything to catch on the end of your wrap or to make it lift because, I don't know, still biting your nails or something, I don't know. But making sure there's no wrinkles or anything. And by the way, obviously you want to, if you're going to file your nails, you want to do that beforehand. Just a side note, get off, you only ever want to file like this, towards the center. And like I said, if you're not comfortable like with, say, using your left hand, move your right hand, move your right finger towards the center. And the only place that you can kind of just pick a direction is the center. Because you should feel like that horrible like skipping. That's because you're filing in the wrong direction. And that can cause little fractures that ends up in breaks. You could actually break your nail doing that. And we're filing here. We're not trying to, get rid of them. But I would not suggest using this to actually file the wrap off. You're going to be here all day. And you're going to probably maybe ruin your good nail file. So now that this has cooled, I'm also going to remove this one. And this one does, since it's on a larger nail, I think my pinky is probably the easiest, even more so than my thumb. My most difficult is the index finger. That just takes a lot of love. Unstick it. Just filing straight downwards. Yours will probably come off a lot faster with a new emery board nail file because it's new. Mine is seen quite a few applications and just general nail filings. Okay. Itchy nose. Okay, so get this ready. Apply some more heat. And like I said, this just allows the wrap to move and be pressed into place. Like I just mashed a wrinkle flat, basically. Just run it down from cuticle to tip along the sides. And then if you see any nonsense going on at the tips, which I am slightly amazed that I don't, but there you are. And I'm going to go ahead and finish these up. And I'm also super happy that I picked these. And like I said, this exact design is available on the website right now, and you can get it buy 3 get 1 free. And the best way that I can explain you to use these is you can get 2 manicures, 2 pedicures, and either a manicure with an accent nail or 4 accent nails out of just one single wrap for $15. If you compare that to going to the salon, just don't, because you'll be sad. And, I love my nail polish, but this is faster. There is no drying time, and there's no smudges. I like to add a gel base and top coat, which you're going to want to make sure you add the base coat and the top coat on top of this. And I do plan on getting the Jamberry base and top coat because I know that it's going to be better than the junk I have. Which I actually already have the lamp here. Super cute. Perfect size. Fits right inside my school desk. And yeah, so you can actually get a True Shine kit that just comes with the lamp and the base and top coat and everything you need to get started and go. Comes with full-size colors and no little sample sizes or anything like that. And if you're really interested in the gels, I highly recommend the Jamberry gels because they're very good quality and you'll get a lot of applications out of them because they're full-size bottles. They're not minis or whatever. And I have used the lacquers, and they're also really great. And you can tell, like if you buy a $1 lacquer at the dollar store, I don't care what base coat or top coat you're going to use, because I use the same ones each time. It's going to chip a lot faster. So, yeah, just letting you know that this stuff is worth it, and I love it, and you know, that silly little slogan that they say, you know, I don't wear it because I sell it, or I sell it because I love it, you know? Alright, so if you have any questions, please ask me. I know that there's going to be stuff that I missed. But yeah, even if you're just that interested in the application kit, which comes with the scissors and this little guy that's forever useful, it's only $12.50 without the oil, and just a little bit more with the cuticle oil, which I have heard that Jamberry's cuticle oil is pretty darn amazing. That would be a really good investment for you, I think, if you're planning on getting the wraps. Okay, have a great day, guys. Happy Saturday.